Scooby-Doo Valentine Day dog napping. The gang was at a new pizza place. Scooby-Doo noticed a menu across the table. Like, hurry up and order, Shaggy told Velma, Daphne, and Fred. This place is about to close. Soon, everyone got their pizzas. Hey, Shaggy said, surprised. What's with the heart shapes? It's Valentine's Day, Velma told him. Roovy-doovy, Scooby said. Woo! Scoob doesn't like mushy stuff, Shaggy laughed, unless it's food. Right, old buddy? He waited for an answer. Oh, buddy? Scooby was staring at a dainty dog. I think Scooby is in love, said Daphne. Fred walked over to the dog and read her name tag. Hello, Prissy, he said. Meet our friend Scooby-Doo. The dog turned and scooted under the counter. Then she poked her nose over. Like, she's playing with you, Scoob, said Shaggy. All at once, somebody scooped her up. Prissy howled as she was whisked away. Like, that dog's in trouble, Shaggy declared. Scooby jumped up. Then he jumped back. He gobbled the last pizza crumbs. Then he took off again. Scooby chased Prissy. Shaggy chased Scooby. And the rest of the gang chased Shaggy. Down the block, Scooby skidded to a stop. Crash! Shaggy ran into Scooby, and Velma, Fred, and Daphne ran into Shaggy. When they all stood up, they saw a woman wearing a dark robe. She was disappearing inside a spooky old house with Prissy. That woman looks like a witch, Shaggy told Scooby. And your main squeeze has been dog-napped. Uh-oh, cried Scooby. Velma shook her head. Wait a minute, you guys. Why would a witch want a dog? Shouldn't she have a cat? Meow. A black cat darted into the house. Scooby howled. Poor Scooby, said Daphne. We've got to help him. And Prissy, Velma agreed. Come on, everyone, said Fred. The door is still open. Inside, everyone tiptoed through the dark rooms. Cobwebs hung from the ceiling. Everything was old and dusty. This way, said Shaggy. Woof! He tripped over a broom. Zoinks! He cried loudly. A witch's broom. Drusilla, called a voice. Ludowicka, is that you? Everyone froze. But the two voices called back, yes, it is us. More witches, Shaggy whispered. Quietly, the gang peeked into the kitchen. The witches were stirring something in the cauldron. It's almost ready, cracked the first witch, Prunella. Just one more ingredient. Uh-oh, groaned Shaggy. You don't think she means Prissy, Scooby finished. We've got to find that dog, said Daphne. Right, Fred said. Let's split up. Velma led Fred and Daphne upstairs. Scoob and Shaggy slipped into the kitchen and down the basement stairs. In the dim light, they saw shelves lined with jars. Potion ingredients, Shaggy whispered. He picked up one jar. Worms. He picked up another one. Eyeballs. Like, Shaggy said, dropping the jars and racing up the stairs. Wee-wee-wee, shouted Scooby. Thud, thud, thud. They weren't quiet now. "What's going on?" said Prunella. Scooby and Shaggy swept past her. "This way," said Shaggy. Crash! They ran into Ludwinka. "No, the other way," Shaggy shouted. Crash! They ran into Drusilla. "Like, hide, Scoob!" Shaggy cried. Here they drove into the cauldron. Seconds later, they came up for air. "Whew!" said Shaggy. Velma, Fred, and Daphne were racing to the rescue, but the witches were right behind. Shaggy gulped. He gulped again. "Like, this is some tasty brew." Velma peered into the cauldron. "This isn't brew," she exclaimed. "It's pizza sauce." She looked closely at the witches. "I've seen your picture on the menu from the pizza place. You're the three sisters from the Three Sisters restaurant." "But they are witches," said Shaggy. "Scoob and I just saw jars of eyeballs and worms." Velma laughed. "They must be olives for the pasta, for the restaurant." Prunella held up the menu for Shaggy. "But what about the brooms and the black cat?" he said. "We just moved here," Prunella said, "and we were trying to clean up the place." "That's why you have so many brooms," Daphne said. Then Prunella rubbed the cat's back. The black came off. "It's dust!" Freddie exclaimed. Scooby howled. "Rrss." "That's right," said Shaggy. "You stole Scooby's lovey doggy." "Prissy is our dog," explained Drusilla, "but she didn't want to come here. She doesn't like anything dirty." Just then Prissy padded in. She smiled at Scooby. Then Prissy saw the sauce on Scoob. She stopped smiling. "Humph!" and she turned away. Scooby shrugged and smiled. He'd already found a new love, the pizza sauce. Scooby-Dooby-Doo!